Just doing some technical stuffs. Share sound. So some ground rules for all of you here who are attending for the first time. Try to make notes, because unless you write, you'll make your own notes, you'll not learn. Learning is important. And keep in a quiet place, keep yourself, make yourself comfortable. So some ground rules for all of you are really important. You have to represent our profession properly, Write the degrees clearly wherever you are writing. Very, very, very important for all of you. Unless we represent the profession properly, we cannot expect a good idea. Okay, perfect. So time is 2 o'clock and we'll start. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in. And we have with us Avinash, who happens to be my very close friend and college buddy. And Avinash and I studied together B.Pharm. He was my college junior, basically, at Government College of Pharmacy, Bangalore. But we have been more of a good friend than a junior senior, right? So Avinash comes with more than 10 years of experience. Of this, he has spent more than 5 years in China and remaining 5 years in India. He has good experience in formulation, research and development, especially in oral dosage forms, that is oral solid dosage forms. He has handled OSDs such as immediate released, modified release tablets, pellets, granules for oral suspension. He has a very keen interest in research, and he has been doing a lot of research with respect to oral dosage forms. So please welcome, join me in welcoming Avinash. So Avinash, welcome. And we are looking forward to listen more about what you do, your story, basically, trying to understand how B.Pharm or M.Pharm has helped you to do whatever you are doing right now in formulation development, number one. Number two, how we can help our pharmacy professionals know more about various career opportunities in the profession of pharmacy, because that is something which, as an awareness campaign, I have been doing, and we realized that there is no much awareness in the profession when it comes to opportunities in the pharmaceutical industry. So I've started presenting the slide, Avinash. You could start sharing your story first. You can just unmute, share your story, and then you can start sharing whatever you want to share with our audience. So audience, this will be a totally interactive session, and Avinash might be asking you some questions. And just in case you have some questions, hold the questions till the end of the session, and we'll have the Q&A session where Avinash will be answering some of the questions that you have in your mind. So Avinash, you're most welcome, and the stage is all yours, and the participants are waiting for you, to share your knowledge and skills. Go on. You're not able to unmute. Okay, just got it. Avinash. Yes. Try now. You should be able to do it.
Yes. Now is okay. Yeah.
Go on.
Good afternoon, dear friends. Already Manoj sir introduced me. Just I would like to tell about my.
No, sir, here, Avinash. We are all friends, and Manoj is perfectly fine.
Okay, no problem. Fine. And already he introduced me. I will tell in 2 lines about myself. I am Avinash Singh. I completed my master's in pharmacy in pharmaceutics department. Then I joined formulation research development. I have more than 10 years of experience. In that 4.5 years I worked in India. Then I moved to China. In China, I worked almost 4 years. Then again, I came back to India. Since then, I'm in India. I'm working in an Indian company right now. So this session is about formulation development, and we shall talk more about what actually we do in formulation development, career opportunities, international platform, many things. Let's start the presentation.
Yeah. So I'm on the first slide. I'll just go on to the second one.
Yes, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Go on.
Okay, this is the content of your today's presentation, and we shall talk about each and every particular subject in detail in next slides. Okay, what is formulation development? In simple word, I will explain you. Suppose, for example, a API, take an example for paracetamol. If a person is having any disease, you cannot give API to him to reduce the pain or fever. We need to transform that API into a specific dosage form. Specific in the sense it could be tablet, capsule, or any like injection or something. So the formulation development is, it's a research of transforming that active ingredient, that active pharmaceutical ingredient, into a drug product or a dosage form uh, by developing an appropriate formula and process. This is what in formulation development we people do. So we transform an API into a specific dosage form. The dosage form could be like oral solid dosage forms, or liquid, or parenteral. So the formulation work is, the formulation science is all about this work. Please, next slide.
Yeah.
What are the objectives of this formulation development? The objectives are mainly we categorize into three subjects. One is clinical need. In clinical need, we develop the dosage form to meet the pharmacologically effective, to meet the clinical indication. For example, paracetamol we use for fever or pain, to reduce the pain. We develop our product in such a way that it should meet that pharmacological need. The pharmacological need here is fever, and to reduce the pain. So the dosage form we design in such a way that it should, when it goes into the blood or in body, it should absorb into the body, and it should meet that pharmacological need. And so this is one of the objective. Second is patient need. In patient need, what patient expect, like they want to take less dose, and the tablet should look elegant, and it should be cost effective, and the taste should be good. These are some patients need that we focus during the formulation development. The third is industrial need. What industry, in industry, what expectation the industry people do, like the blend we prepare, it should be easily flowable. The compressibility of API should be good. The tablet formation, whatever the process we follow in tablet formation, that process should be smooth and very robust. And this is an industrial need. So we, in formulation development, we mainly focus on these three basic needs. One is clinical, that should be pharmacologically effective. The second is patient need, patient compliance, the economical. Third is industrial need. What formulation scientists do, whatever objective we already discussed, whatever objectives we already discussed, the formulation scientists focus on these three needs, and the formulation scientists are doing in these. So what is the first step in formulation process? That's called pre-formulation studies. Pre-formulation studies means first selection of API. In API selection, there are so many factors we need to be considered when we select the API. That comes in second. So next slide. In pre-formulation studies, we mix. No, please go to the previous slide. Okay, in pre-formulation studies, we combine API with different excipients. Then we study in stability studies. In that, whichever excipient is unstable or is giving more impurity, stability is not good, that we reject, and whichever is good, we select based on our needs. This is what we do in pre-formulation studies. Then analyze the pre-formulation studies. So we can select the best combined excipient, and then start the formulation trials. Formulation trials means combine the excipient, develop the formulation, and develop the process which is required for manufacturing the formulation. In this process, we come across something called QBD. QBD means quality by design. Quality by design means it is a systematic approach of development. US FDA, that's United States Food and Drug Administration. This is a regulatory body of United States. They have created this QBD format like long back. Now almost all regulatory authorities like Europe, UK, and Australia, everyone follow this QBD format. QBD format means development in a systematic way with predetermined objectives and understanding the process parameters. If we change one process, what effect it will show in the final product. This is what called understanding the process parameters, understanding excipient activity during the formulation, understanding the stability. So QBD means systematic approach of development with predetermined objectives and understanding the process parameters. It's a systematic flow of formulation process. Then once you finalize the formula, once you finalize the process, then we go to the scale up batches. In our R&D lab, we normally take the batches of like 2000, 3000 batches. Once the process and formulation set in these smaller batches, then we scale up the batches to like 1 lakh, sometimes up to 2 lakh. Once we do the 1 lakh, 2 lakh batches, at this stage we do something called pilot BE study. Pilot BE study means whatever formulation we design, in that formulation we do the pilot BE in smaller subject. Pilot means small. We do in small number of subject, like 10 people, 12 people. Once we done with pilot BE study, again we take some more bigger batches and do the pivotal BE study. It's called like bigger size of people, like more than 40, sometimes 50 people study. Once we done with the pivotal BE and we successfully pass that pivotal BE, then we submit the product to the regulatory market. If you want to submit to the US, there is called US FDA, that is a regulatory body of US. If you want to submit to India, something called DCGI, that is a regulatory body of Indian market. Then for Australia, it is called TGA. For Canada, it is called Health Canada. For London, it's called MHRA. So once we done with the pivotal BE study and we successfully pass that pivotal BE, then we submit our product to those regulatory body and they review our formulation process, our clinical, BE study process, and they will study our stability of our product after like success, after 1 or 2 years, depending on the time. They will this time is depends on them. Once this scrutiny completes, then they approve the product and the product goes into the market. Once the product goes into the market, there is something called technology transfer, that whatever develop we do is transfer the technology to the production department. In that case, again we take bigger batches like 5 lakh, 6 lakh tablets bags. Once the technology transfer, that goes into the production. This is how the process goes. Then finally is in formulation scientist to the evaluation of finished medicinal product. Once we finish the product, we study the stability of each product at least like 2 years, minimum 2 years. Because if you see any product, backside of the product, you can see the expiry date. The expiry date will be like around 2 years or more. In very less case, very few cases, you can find something like less than 2 years stability expiry date. So most of the product expiry will be 2 or more than 2. So normally we study for 2 years. This is what formulation scientists do. In brief, I am telling. If you go into the details, there is much more role and responsibilities. I think that right now we don't need to go into all those things. Then comes to types of formulation. Please go to the next slide. Yeah, types of formulation. The formulation we broadly divide into 3 categories. One is enteral, parenteral, and topical. Enteral means all OSD, or in simple words, we can we can tell like whatever we submit orally, like tablets, capsules, suspension, and chewable tablet, etc. Whatever we submit orally, that goes into that comes in the category of OSD, oral solid dosage forms. This is also called as enteral. Parenteral, in simple words, parenteral means anything we are giving into the blood, that is injection, intravenous, intramuscular, subcutaneous, prefilled syringes. Then third is topical, whatever we apply on skin, like creams, ointments, and even whatever we submit in by nose, that is called nasal sprays, and all these are come into the topical. So formulation we broadly divide into these 3 categories, and whatever experience I personally have is only into the OSTs. Next slide. For factors to be considered during FD. Like in just 2 slides back, I told you we need to consider some factors when we do the formulation development. Now come to that point. API, when you are selecting the API, first you need to consider some very important characteristics of it, like physical, chemical, polymorphic study, stability, pH of API, particle size study of API. Why we need the particle size? If I briefly tell some points, some important points of API selection, particle size is one of the most important, because there most of the products which we develop in the market or whatever available in the market are class 2 or class 4 drugs. Class 2 means low soluble and high permeable. Class 4 means low soluble, low permeable. So when we do this type of formulation, the major challenge is dissolution, then absorption. Whatever product you take, the first important thing is it should dissolve in our GIT, then absorb, then only it will show its effect. If product is not absorbing into the blood, then it will not show the effect. So the first 2 important factors are dissolution and absorption. So class 2, class 4, for class 2, class 4 drugs, the dissolution, improving the dissolution is major challenge. So particle size is important. In particle size, if lower the particle size, surface area is more, so the dissolution is faster. So particle size in these 2 types of drugs, class 2 and class 4, lesser particle size is better. And class 1, class 3 drugs, class 1 means high soluble, high permeable, class 3 is high soluble, low permeable. So in class 1, class 3, particle size is not that important. So in those category of drug, by trial and error or by doing some initial prototype formulation, we can finalize the particle size. And polymorphic study. Why we need the polymorphic study? An API can exist in more than 2 or 3 polymorphic form, like form 1, 2, 3, or form A, B, C, D. So each form has different characteristic. There are many API. If you Google or if you find, form A is effective, clinically effective, but form B is not clinically effective, because this is because of their structural characteristic. So specific form will give specific pharmacological effect. So when you are developing the product, you should keep checking that your product is not converting into any other form. If suppose form A is effective, you should retain that form A throughout your development and throughout your stability study. So if the product is changing its form, there are some excipients, it's called stabilizers or form retardants. So we can use that one and we can retard the form of the product. So polymorphic form is also important. Then stability we need to check throughout the study. And these are some important characteristic of API we need to observe or study throughout our formulation. Then selection and evaluation of excipient. As I said, only API we cannot give to any diseased person. We need to make it a specific dosage form, then should administer for a pharmacological effect. So selection of and evaluation of excipients which we add into the API to make the medicinal product is most important. Suppose if you are developing ER type of tablet, we need some good and extended release polymers. If you are preparing delayed release tablet, we need some enteric polymers which inhibit the release of drug into stomach. If you have a specific requirement, like if you want to release your product only at pH 7, there are some polymers which dissolve only after pH 7. We need to coat our drug product with that kind of polymers. So selection of excipient is based on what type of dosage form we want. Do we want enteric coat, do we want delayed release or extended release or immediate release? If you want to disintegrate your product very rapidly in stomach, there are some super disintegrants, we can use that. So we can make our product to disintegrate and dissolve very fast in stomach, like within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So what type of excipient selects, it purely depends on what type of dosage form we are developing. And if you are developing injection, there are different excipients we need. If you are developing ointment or something, there are different types of excipient. So before selecting even when we select the excipient, before making into the product, we need to study something called pre-formulation studies. That's already we discussed in our previous slides. In pre-formulation studies, we combine API with those excipients and we keep in stability study to check whether that excipient and API are compatible with each other or not. If they are not compatible, there is chances of like generation of new impurities that may be harmful to your body. So in pre-formulation study, whatever excipients we choose, first we combine with API and put into stability study. Then we check the compatibility between these two. If everything is compatible, then we take that excipient for our further formulation studies. Then third is effectiveness of drug in clinical. Effectiveness of drug in clinical or bioequivalent trials. See, the ultimate goal of our formulation is our product should be effective and should release in the blood. This is our ultimate goal. So when we are developing the formulation, we should consider these parameters like bioequivalence. Study in bioequivalence, what is the requirement, whether the drug product need to release slowly or immediate. So the final goal will be it should be bioequivalent. So we plan our development in such a way that the bioequivalence study should be in our mind, and whatever RLD we select, RLD in the sense reference listed drug, we do our BE study with RLD. So how the RLD characteristics are there, same way we need to develop to pass the successful BE study. Then stability study results. Our formulation strategy should be based on our stability results. If stability is not good, then we should change the excipient to make the product stable. So continuously we should watch our stability. If whatever excipient we select and we make a tablet and we coat the tablet with some coating material, keep checking the stability. If the stability is not good, then change the excipient, use some alternative, or study the literature and check that which excipient is compatible and which meets our requirement. So based on the stability study, change formulation until you get the desired formulation with bioequivalent result. Please, next slide. As I explained, OSD, my experience is OSD, so I will tell it more about the OSD. OSD means oral solid dosage forms. In simple way, whatever medicinal product you submit through orally, you consider all those comes into the category of OSD. Why OSD is most important is 70% of world market. If you see, like if for example, if somebody is getting cold or fever or anything, the first preference, so the first choice of medicine is tablet or capsule. If you have fever, you don't go for injection for as first step. First step is tablets or capsule, which are easily available and very easy to take. So first point of contact is OSD. So 70% of the pharma market is covered by OSD. So OSD has big scope like tablets, capsule. This category of medicinal products has bigger scope than like parenterals or topical. And in OSD, the most popular dosage forms are tablets or capsule, because this is easy to manufacture, very economical, and very easy to take. We don't need any like specialized skills to take the OSD. So tablets or capsules are more. This is mostly preferred medicinal dosage forms. So OSD covers more than 70% of pharmaceutical market in the world. Please, next slide. Okay. Now, as I said, in OSD, the most easily preferred is tablets and capsules. Let's talk a few advantages of tablets and capsule. Tablets easy to handling, because you can take the tablet and keep in your pocket when you're going to some work or something. And if you want to take the tablet during your work, also you can easily take. But you cannot carry the parenteral products. For example, injection. You cannot carry the like ointment in your pocket. But it is not convenient than tablets. So tablet is easy for handling and greatest dose precision. When we manufacture a tablet, when you need to like 10 lakh, 5 lakh batch size, the content uniformity in each tablet is much better than other dosage forms. The dose precision is very good. When we manufacture tablet, even in scale-up batches, bigger batches, the content uniformity, I hope you're understanding content uniformity means the content of API in each tablet. This is called content uniformity. The content uniformity is very best in tablets and capsules than other dosage forms. And the variability between one tablet to each other tablet is much lesser. Because, for example, if one tablet is having 99.9% API, the other like 99.8, 99.9. So the variability is much lesser. The regulatory requirement is 95 to 105% API. So we can easily get this in tablets, and most economical in production and packaging. The production of tablets or capsules is much more economical than other dosage forms like ointment or pre-filled syringes or freeze dried products. Those products are like much more times expensive than manufacturing of tablets. In tablets, if you are developed or process something like dry granulation or wet granulation, even the cost of each tablet is much lesser than syringes or something. So in industry wise, manufacturing of tablet and capsule is much more times economical than other dosage forms. And the most important is no special skills needed for patient administration. For tablet, you don't need any person to administer you. If you are taking an injection, you need a specialized person, a trained person, like could be a doctor or a nurse or something. So in terms of tablet, you don't need any specialized person. You can easily take by yourself. So you don't need any specialized person to take the tablet. This is one of the most advantage of tablet, and this is the reason that most people prefer to take the tablets than other dosage forms. Next slide. Now come to the tablet ingredients and production process. Ingredients. What are the ingredients that one tablet will have other than API? These ingredients are called as excipient. API is active pharmaceutical ingredient. Excipients is the other ingredients which we use in tablet to make a medicinal product. The types of ingredients we use are like diluent. Diluent is also called as weight. To make a weight, I will tell what is diluent next time. First, let's talk about binder. Binder is something like to make the granules uniform. Binder we use to make the granules and to uniform granules. So if you make a good and uniform granules, the weight variation in the final product is much lesser. If the granules are same size, or in PSD, when we do the particle size distribution study, all the granules, like more than 50 or 60% of the granules of same size, means the variability between one tablet to the other tablet is much lesser. So the uniformity in production is very good. And second is disintegrant. The role of disintegrant is to make the tablet to break down fastly. This disintegrant we use mainly in immediate release type of products. If disintegrant are more, the tablet disintegrate, break down fast, then dissolution fast. So if the particle size is lesser, dissolution will be faster. If more surface area, dissolution is fast. So if the granule size is less, then the dissolution is fast. So disintegrate work is to break down the product fast in the most lesser particle size. So the dissolution we can increase the dissolution. And extended release polymers. This extended release polymers we use in ER type of products. The polymer work is to extend the release to up to 12 hours or 24 hours or more than 24 hours. It depends on our requirement, what type of products we are developing. ER polymers we use to extend the product. Sweeteners. Sweeteners we use for patient compliance. If the API is very bitter in stage, and we are taking as the tablet as chewable tablet, then we cannot take, because it is already very bitter. So sweeteners are used to mask that bitterness. So sweeteners are mainly used in the chewable tablet or mouth dissolving tablet or oral disintegrating tablet. These are if of medicinal products will have sweeteners. And glidants and lubricants. The work of these excipients are to improve the flowability of the granules during manufacturing process. If we have more, if not more, if we have good lubricant and gradient, that the granules we use for manufacturing, the flow of the granules from hopper to compression stage will be very smooth, and the compression process goes without any hindrance. So the work of gradient and lubricant is to improve the flowability of the granules. Coloring agent is to look the tablet more beautiful, or you can say are elegant, so that people can feel good to take this. This is the colorant we add, the colorant we use in the tablets are to improve the patient compliance to look elegant. And stabilizers means, for example, if the product is prone to oxidation, the stabilizers we use to reduce the oxidation in the product and make the product stable. If the product is prone to microbial growth, then we use the preservatives. So preservatives, preservatives or antioxidant agent, these all comes into the stabilizers. Stabilizers work is to make the product, to keep the product stable. Now come to what is diluent. For example, if you set your tablet weight is 320 mg, and the other excipients, the API is 20 mg, and other excipients you used up to 100 mg. So whatever the gap is left of 200 mg, that we use as that, in that much quantity we use diluent. So diluent is also called as fillers. The work of diluent is to make up the volume and compress the tablet. So the diluent is also called as filler. So now come to the process. In tablet manufacturing, the majorly used process are dry granulation, wet granulation, pellets coating. The major is dry and wet granulation, then comes pellets coating, then hot melt extrusion. Sorry, it's a spelling mistake. It should be hot melt extrusion, not expression. Then extrusion and spironization, these are some process, but the majorly used is dry and wet granulation. In dry granulation, the difference between dry and wet granulation is, in dry granulation we don't use any solvent. There is something called a granulator. We mix all the excipient, then pass through the granulator, then we pass through the granulator, then the all excipient mixture will come out as granules, then we use that for manufacturing. In wet granulation, we use something called rapid mixer granulator. We use either water or other solvents to make the granules in wet granulation. In dry granulation, no solvents or water used. In pellets coating, we use FPP, something called fluid bed processor. We coat the pellets with the drug, then we pack the pellet into capsules. Then pellets, sorry, we fill the pellets into the capsule. So these pellets we use for capsule filling. And in very rare case, pellets also be compressed to tablets, but the major dosage form of pellets is capsule. So next slide. Okay, now come to the career growth in formulation development department. In formulation, according to my knowledge, it has huge job opportunities, because every production company need to have a formulation development group, because without formulation you cannot make a product. First, if you want to manufacture on product, first you make develop the product. If you want to develop the product, you should have a formulation group. So once you finish the product in formulation, study stability, etc., all the research work, then goes into the production department, then start the production capacity. So all the big companies which is having production or which is having like huge market capture, all people need a formulation team. So it's job opportunities are much more, especially in India. Job opportunities are more because India is like biggest supplier of pharmaceutical product. So almost all the big companies have the formulation development department in India. So the job opportunities are more, and there will be some competition obviously, because every job has competition, but opportunities are more. And India is very strong in formulation science, like other than any country. In India, formulation development department, formulation technology is much advanced than any other country. So whatever we export to India more than 50 or 60% is from India. India is very, very big exporter of formulation products. And it is a research oriented job, and research job are really trending in the world now. There are many, many opportunities out, even in India, outside of India. Next slide. Basic qualification to join formulation development. Almost all companies prefer MPharm in pharmaceutics department. In some case, as you know, in India, recommendations are like more, everything goes on recommendation in India. If that is the case, some like other department also be considered, but the basic requirement of joining formulation development is MPharma in pharmaceutics department, because pharmaceutics is subject which in that subject we study only about formulation. Like in India, sorry, in Karnataka, the pharmaceutics department have subjects like advances in drug delivery system and pre-formulation and production management. So in those subjects we study what is formulation, different type of delivery system. So the preferred one is MPharma in pharmaceutics, and nowadays no company is like preferring the people who is having B Pharma or yeah, because now competition is more, and M-Pharma is like basic requirement. And if you qualified GATE or GPAT, definitely it will be an added strength. Uh, GATE qualified or GPAT qualified with M-Pharma in good company, good universities is definitely will be added strength. And if you have good research publication, especially related to the this delivery system, then that will also give a good weightage to your resume. If you have like any research product with development of extended release tablet or suspension or nanotechnology or etc., anything. So if you have some formulation research paper, then it will add a good strength to your resume. So basic requirement is M-Pharma with pharmaceutics. This is the like very prior requirement. Then GATE and other any research application will be an added strength. Next slide. Okay, international opportunities. As I said, research oriented departments will definitely will have a good scope in international platform. So formulation development is purely a research oriented department. So definitely you will have a good platform. You know, in internationally, uh, there are two types of development. One is called NDA, new drug development. Another is called generic product development. A new development means some companies invent a new drug. It's called drug discovery. Then they start the formulation, then the clinical studies. Another is generic. Generic means they develop a product and they compare their product with the already existed RLD. RLD means reference listed drug. The two types of formulation department. One is for NDA, another is for generic. So whatever the research, whether it is completely a new drug discovery or it is generic industry, for both the industries formulation is most important, because when they discover the drug, as I said, you cannot give the drug directly to the patient. You need to make into a specific dosage form. So if you want to make a specific dosage form, yes, you need a good formulation scientist. So in international platforms, especially in US and all, there are like much more new drug discoveries going on. So everywhere, wherever a new drug discovery or generic industry, formulation has a good scope. And all research and development work need a support of formulation. As I said right now, all research and development, like whether it is NDA or it is generic product, or you're developing something like lyophilized or parenteral. So every even whatever if a person is developing injection, he is also a formulator, but he's called parenteral department. If a person is developing liquid dosage form, that is also formulation. So whatever the dosage form it is, but you need a formulation scientist. And internationally, there are more opportunities, because as already I worked in China, then I know something about like Malaysia, Singapore, and uh, Bangkok. So there are like opportunities are much more to formulation scientist. And even in US, I have few friends. They always tell that the formulation requirement is much more in US also. So yes, the requirement internationally formulation department has good scope. Please next slide. Okay, this is one slide about India versus China, because as I said, I worked in China for more than 5 years. I know some comparison between India and China, so I want to share those knowledge in this slide. India is very, very strong in formulation. This is already I said. I think in world no one can beat India right now in formulation technology, even not US. So India is the biggest exporter of medicinal products to the world. So Indian formulation science or formulation technology is much advanced, and here formulation intelligence is like much advanced than any other country. So we are very strong in this category. So where we the comparison between India and China, first comes biology research. In biology research, it's a basic research, like before it's something called drug discovery, or it is very preliminary research work. In this case, we have some capabilities and we are growing faster and faster, but China is strong in this. In biology research, they are very strong. Chemistry research means API manufacturing. API manufacturing is a pure chemical chemistry. It is pure chemistry. We are good, but China is more strong in chemistry. And API manufacturing, API industries are much more in China, and their supply is most economical than China. Sorry, most economical than India. So in API industry, they are okay, strong. We are good in that. But pharmaceutical formulation and research and export and development of medicinal products, we are very, very strong. They are growing. China is growing, but we are already very strong in this category, in development of formulation development and export of medicinal products. Preclinical studies. In preclinical studies means when we discover a product, a new drug, first we do the preclinical study. In preclinical study, we evaluate the safety and efficacy of the new discovered drug. And China and India both are same in that. Both are in the same space in this category. And clinical trial means when we discover a new product, then we should go through the clinical studies, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. In this, India is good, but China is better than us. In clinical studies, the expenditure is much more, and time requirement to study the clinical all phases is like 3-4 years. So this is very long process, and this we mainly use for newly discovered drug. So China is strong in this, and we are growing. We mainly focus on generic industry. India is mainly focused on generic industry. Generic means there is something already existed in the world market, and we manufacture or we develop the product which is similar to the RLD, and we are very, very good in that, and very good in formulation technology and developing the formulation technology. We are very good. India is very good in that. So India is biggest exporter. Next slide. Okay, final slide. Summary of our whatever discussion we have done so far. The success of bringing a new medicine to the market is equally important contribution of scientists working in different scientific field. Here I said different scientific field. I will tell you to manufacture a new drug, who are involved in that process. First is drug discovery. In drug discovery, the scientists who involved are mainly belongs to the category of chemistry, pure chemistry. API is a chemical formula. So to make a good drug, the scientists who are involved are chemistry people. So this is one type of scientist. Then comes, once your drug discovered, then we need to make into a specific dosage form. You cannot give drug directly to the patient. Then comes the formulation scientist. Formulation scientist do some pre-formulation studies, and he makes some prototype formulation. Then this is formulation job. Then this prototype, with this prototype formulation, the clinical group, this is another scientist, the formulation part of formulation scientist. The clinical scientists, especially the people who do in pharmacology or MBBS, those are involved in clinical studies. They do preclinical studies. In preclinical studies, they evaluate safety and efficacy. Then once they evaluate the safety efficacy, then again this product comes back to the formulation. Then formulation person will develop the product. In before preclinical, it was prototype formulation. After preclinical, again we need to make a finalized formulation. This is called, we need to make a perfect medicinal product. Once we finish that medicinal product, again that product goes into the clinical studies. So in clinical studies, they do phase 1, 2, 3, 4. Once all successful phase completed, then product goes into the market. So in this journey of developing and launching the product into the market, this formulation scientist also have an equal important role. So formulation science plays an important role in the process of bringing the product into the market. Okay, I think this is the last slide. Thank you. If any questions.
Thank you so much, Avinash. It was a wonderful recap of everything we learned in BPharm.
Okay.
I remember, our professors and lecturers, we used to talk about all these formulation techniques and everything related to pharmaceutics. Thank you so much for, brushing up. Personally, you brushed up my knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And participants, now we'll take up some questions. I already have some questions in the chat box. We'll start reading them. But before that, if you want to ask a specific question from Avinash, please raise your virtual hand on Zoom. I'll give you the unmuting right. You can unmute and then ask him directly. That is always better because, he spent so much time talking to you and explaining everything about FR&D, and then also, helping you understand various career options. If you talk to him directly, your doubts will be clarified. Remember one more thing. If you ask your doubts, the same doubt might be in the mind of other pharmacy students who do not want to ask, and you are helping them as well, right? So let's try to do that. So I'll just wait for the virtual hands. Whoever raises first gets a chance. First fingers first, right? So, okay, Muzammil, you can unmute and ask. If you want, you can switch on your video as well.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, please.
Muzammil. Yes.
Sir, I'm pharmacy final year student. I'm doing my masters in pharmaceutics.
Okay.
Along with, I get an opportunity to work in formulation development department in R&D center in Wakhat.
Okay, nice.
How can I grow from this point of view? Can I continue in formulation development, and to grow in this field, what aspect and what quality I need, and how to talk with senior in this department? And from the basic point, what skills I have to develop to grow fast in this department?
Okay. See, first thing is Wakhat is one of the best company, and it is very good to work with. And formulation development definitely have a good scope in future. So if you want, I suggest you go and join. I think Wakhat is not in Karnataka or Hyderabad. It's in somewhere in Maharashtra, as of my knowledge. So if you are really interested in formulation job, better go and join. You don't think too much. If you have any other option, like if you are confused between other departments, if you want to go regulatory or something else, then first you decide whether you want to go formulation or you want to go other department. If you are interested, you don't need to think too much. See, now you just finished your education. Many things you don't know, like whatever you studied in your college, you cannot apply in same way in your company. So once you join, definitely you will understand practically what is formulation development, and you will like it. And in future, definitely you will have a good opportunity to grow. And there are many companies. For now, you are going to Maharashtra. In future, definitely you will get job somewhere in like Hyderabad or Karnataka. There are more opportunities. You don't need to worry about that.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. So Muzammil, if that you are okay or happy with that answer, give us a thumbs up so that we know that we could explain you. Anybody else wants to ask any question, please raise your virtual hand. Remember, asking something is very, very important, because unless we ask, we'll not get any answer. Even the crying baby gets the milk, others don't, right? So you have to cry to get the milk. That is very, very important. Okay, so another question, Avinash, is from Ragul. I'm reading from the chat box until I get some virtual hands raised. So one question from Ragul is, sir, whether MPharm industrial pharmacy graduate is eligible for FR&D jobs?
Yes, they are eligible, but industrial pharmacy people are mainly considered into technology transfer. There are something called first formulation development, then comes technology transfer. Technology transfer is whatever technology we develop in formulation that will be transferred to the production department. So it is in between formulation and production. So industrial pharmacy people are mainly considered into technology transfer, but he can try for formulation. There are opportunities.
Perfect. So there is another question, whether PhD is required for F&D jobs.
See, this is a research oriented. Definitely, if you have PhD in future, like there is, for example, now I worked in a very big multinational company. If you want to go to the big position like R&D head or something, they must need PhD.
Absolutely.
So definitely PhD will work if you are growing and growing. If you want to become like R&D head, plant head, MD, in those positions they want PhD. So PhD with MPharm and pharmaceutics is like very good combination. And in any research oriented field, PhD definitely will add a very, very good strength. For example, now I worked in China. In China, PhD people have like very huge value.
Absolutely.
Even in immigration, the policemen salute you. Really, I'm not joking over this because I have seen this.
Yeah, this is true. Actually, I was interacting in another webinar from some other country, and we also, the speaker in that country also told the same thing.
Because in India, like talents are the recognition is much less. So that is the reason some PhD people will not get that value. But I have seen the people, they are my friends, they are postdoc from India, and they joined some companies in China. When they are in immigration, the immigration officer like very happily tell like, thank you sir for coming to our country.
Wow, that's so nice to know. Yeah. Thank you Avinash for answering that. And I can definitely tell that this is absolutely true. And this is not just for F&D, this is for any research. Any research, any kind of job opportunity. The higher your education is, the better value you get. Okay. But initially you'll have to of course struggle, but once you have crossed that phase, you definitely get that value. And I know for sure that I have a lot of my classmates and seniors who are working in other countries, and the kind of value they are getting and the kind of value addition they are giving to that country is immense. And obviously, the higher education you have, the better salary you get. So thank you, Avinash, for answering that. And there is another question: which has more scope, novel drug delivery systems or nanotechnology?
Both are in formulation only. See, some companies are in nano. And not every company will have these things. For example, I will tell you, I don't want to take a company name. Whatever company I worked in my previously, their main focus is on OSD tablets and capsules. They are not into the nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is also formulation. In formulation, there are many different departments. OSD is different department, parental is different department, nanotechnology is different department, and then topical is different department. But the scope of because as all the companies will not have nanotechnology because it is little expensive, and even the products are more expensive. So people are market driven. Any company will have the strategy. This depends on market driven. If market requirement is more, they will do. So nanotechnology is also a very good department, but in India, most of the company is not having that research area because it is more expensive. But if you want to join something, having more good opportunities means tablets, capsule, parental.
Absolutely, that's totally, I totally agree. And for all the participants, Avinash has given only one department's idea. Okay, in formulation you have so many departments. We just spoke about only OSD. Okay,
OSD, yes, because OSD. It covers maximum market in world.
Yeah, that is because it covers maximum market. But then you have so many other departments. But hopefully we'll get some more speakers for talking about different departments. But then this was like an overview, and I'm sure it gave you some idea and glimpse of what really happens in FR&D and what kind of career opportunities you have both in India and also internationally. So another question, Avinash, for you, this is again a very basic question, and I'm sure most of the students will have this kind of questions in their mind. Not just the ones who are present here, but also the students who are in the M.Pharm first year, M.Pharm second year, and also B.Pharm students who are all looking for career opportunities in F&D. So this is the question is from Ragul again. He says, "Sir, what will be the starting job role for freshers in F&D, and what will be the regular duty of F&D person?"
Most of the company recruit you as either trainee or executive. In that time, they will allow you to work under some supervisor, or you can tell a team leader or senior executive. So in that case, they will just allow, they will tell you to manufacture the batches. For example, if I am a team leader, I will give you formula, you just manufacture it.
Right.
So in initial phase, they want you people to know how to do the tablets.
Right.
Okay, which excipient, how it will work. So if you are continuously taking some batches, for example, if the formulation scientist change an excipient from A to B, then you will understand why he changed. Either you can ask him, or if you read some literature, you will understand. So initially, they don't give a project to do. First, they will tell you to work under some person. First, they will train you, like just you manufacture. They will give a formula, you manufacture it. They will see the result. If it is not working, if the resolution is not good, they will change some excipient, and they will tell you to take the batches. So in this process, you will understand how to make the tablet. First thing, that is most important. Then how, if you are changing one excipient to two excipient, you need to to make some work, like why he is changing. Either you ask him or you study, whatever you want to do, but you need to understand why he is changing this excipient, what is the reason. For example, if before the dissolution is not perfect, then he will add some super disintegrant or something to improve the dissolution. If the product is not stable, he will add some stabilizers to make this stable. So in this process, you understand how to make tablet, and you will understand something about excipient. This is most important, because which excipient needs to add and how to need to add. And manufacturing process, as I said, dry granulation, wet granulation. Sometimes you switch from dry to wet, because if the compressibility of blend is not good, then he move to wet granulation. So in first 1 year or 2 years, just they will make you to understand the process, understand the excipient knowledge, and understand the API characteristic, like if API is more amorphous, which excipients we need to select, or which process we need to select. If it is more crystalline nature, if the particle size is bigger, then we don't need to work more on the flowability of API. So first they will make you to understand these things for 1 year or 1.5 years. Then they will give individually on project. So if you get the individual product, then you will understand the complete flow of the formulation project from start to end.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. So there is another question from Shiv Prasad. He says, "What is QBD approach? What are the advantages and disadvantages of QBD?"
Okay, before QBD comes, like
Avinash,
the
you
US
just tilt your phone
US
little bit. Avinash, 1 second. Yeah. Little bit, ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So before QBD, everyone is developing the product, but not in a proper way.
Okay.
For example, there is something called in-use stability study. What is in-use stability study? Is you have 30 tablets in a bottle. Every day you open the bottle and take one tablet. So every day your tablet exposed to the external environment, humidity, moisture, etc. So there may be a chance of degradation if the product is unstable. So this is one example I'm giving. Before QBD, there was no one was doing in-use stability study. So what QBD did is a systematic approach. Okay, not like first, for example, before you start the formulation trials, first you need to study API, first you need to study excipients, first you need to study preformulation. Some companies are not doing anything like of this. First, they are directly going into the formulation, and they are once the formulation is finalized, whatever the excipient they selected in final formula, They did the excipient study of only those things and they submitted. So the study was not systematically designed. It is like zigzag. Do something. If it comes, if it is positive, then submit. If it is negative, and do it some more, work some more time on that. Again, you finalize the formula and submit. So what QBD is did is QBD format is systematic design. What is systematic design? First you study API, then you study RLD, because in generic industry you develop a product as per the RLD. So first you study RLD, then API, then you study excipient, then you tell me why you selected this excipient, then you go to the preformulation study, then you show me the result of preformulation, then you do the formulation trial, then you finalize the formula, then optimize the process, then scale up the batch. This is a systematic approach. So in QBD they have given a approach. They designed an approach like this is the way you have to do. So after that the people started doing in systematic way. So when the regulatory bodies, when you submit your dossier to regulatory bodies, for them it is easier to evaluate and understand the process more, best way, you know. This is the reason QBD came into the force.
So now we know the advantages of QBD approach. Excellent
Yes.
explanation, Avinash. Thank you. Another question is from Akshit. What are the skills required for company in F&D department? So if a student is, let me rephrase, if a student is planning to get into F&D or FR&D, what are the basic skill he or she should have, before
basic
he
skills
applies?
what I say is, first you should know the difference between tablets, what is entry coated tablet, what is daily rigid tablet, some basic knowledge of excipients like what is lactose, what is cross povidone. And you don't need to like very strong research knowledge or something, because everyone knows, every company knows that the study in companies, so in college is different, working in company is different. So if you want to join formulation, first you need to have some basic knowledge of tablets, capsule. Suppose if I tell in tableting process we do the shifting, why we do the shifting, these are some basic knowledge. uh, this if you have this type of knowledge, the difference between extended release and delayed release, and what is solubility, what is BCS classification, and if you have this basic knowledge is enough.
Perfect. And, Avinash, I'll add to this a little bit. Akshit and all these students who are attending, and, for others which will be available as a recording later on. This is a very, very common question, that what is the basic skills that a company expects for a particular department? The basic skill for any company expects is you should be master in your subject. If you are
Yes.
an M.Pharm in pharmaceutics, you master pharmaceutics. If you are a M.Pharm in pharmacology, you master pharmacology. If you are getting into medical writing, all they want is all pharmacological knowledge. You should know. You should know about disease and drugs and everything, mechanism of action. So that is why I, as a medical writer, recruit medical writers for. And Avinash, as a F&D or FR&D person, he'll be recruiting people with pharmaceutics knowledge. So whatever you are studying in your college, master that. There is no shortcut to knowledge. Please don't go for certifications and shortcut books. Okay, always we go for notes and shortcut options to complete our courses. Please don't do that. All of you who are going for shortcut options will be asking the same questions. What are the skills needed for this? And then you'll be struggling later on when you are applying for jobs. So please don't do that. Study well and study for knowledge, not for just certificate or marks. Okay,
That's
because
right.
yeah, certificate or marks will probably help you to get an entry initially, but it will not help you for your career growth. Okay, so this I've been telling almost in all the sessions, and again I'm telling you the same thing. Please study well. So thank you, Avinash, and thank you, Akshit, for asking that question. I'm sure that will be the question in minds of almost all of us. Another question is from Ragul. Sir, what is the best option starting a F&D job in an MNC or an Indian company? Where do we learn more?
um I would say MNC, because just now I talked about QBD. Most of the Indian companies who are into the Indian market, they don't follow QBD, and the regulations are not stringent in DCGI. So if it is MNC, the approach is very systematic. So MNC will be better.
Absolutely. So totally agree with you. I second that because I started my career in an MNC, and the learnings that we get in MNCs are totally different from Indian companies. In Indian companies, we have this chalta hai attitude, and in MNCs, we don't have that kind of attitude. So we learn a lot, and if you want to learn, then definitely you have to go. And if you want to learn a process or a technology or a system, then you have to go for an MNC company. But then if you want to get into just easy jobs, just do whatever you want. Okay. So thank you, Avinash, for that. And finally, okay, Bhushan will not take this question. Bhushan has asked what is the scope of medical coding after D pharmacy. So we'll not take that question because it is not relevant here. We will have a medical coding session very, very soon. Probably next week, we have another session on Friday again, Saturday at 2 p.m. So do join if you want to learn more about various career opportunities. Already we have covered lot about medical coding and medical writing in our previous webinars. So you can just go and watch the recordings also. We normally keep everything in public. So all this information that we are sharing here is for public and for everyone to use. And all this information is for free. We believe in free distribution of knowledge. That is what we are doing. And we also love to have your feedback. I've just sent you a link in the chat box. Please do share your feedback. This will help us in organizing more of this kind of sessions later on. Okay. Just give me a moment. There is some problem with the network. Just give me a moment. Avinash, you're there? I think I lost you. I can't see Avinash. Anyways, so okay, guys. So please give your feedback. That is very, very important for us to plan our future sessions. Avinash, you can switch on your video. I can't see you, anyways. So do attend other sessions on various other career objectives. Give us a feedback and subscribe to be part of the Telegram group, because I personally cannot send messages to all of you individually. I mostly share all the information related to webinars and other things related to pharmacy in the Telegram group. We have more than 2,200 members in the group right now, and every Saturday at 2 p.m. we have these webinars. We'll talk different topics and subjects. Next week again we have something on career opportunities in different career opportunities in pharmacy profession as a whole, and we have some international speaker talking on that topic, and he'll also give an Indian and international perspective. So please do join, and then if you feel that these webinars are helping you, then do invite others also to join these webinars and help each other. That is very, very important. So Avinash, are you there? Have you joined? I can't see you. Okay, looks like Avinash is not able to join because of some technical issues, but that's okay. Don't worry. We have come to an end of this webinar. We already spent quite some time. It's already 3:05. So thank you so much for being with us and on this learning journey, and we'll continue this learning journey next week again. Please do join if you like to know more about different career opportunities in pharmaceuticals, in pharmacy profession as a whole. And please do invite others also and share this knowledge. Whatever you have learned, if you could pass on to 5 or 10 people around you, 5 or 10 students around you, that would be a great help to me personally. And do share this information. And if you want to apply for any jobs in FR&D, I'll be also sending the link of LinkedIn profile link of Avinash, so you can connect with him later on and be part of the growing community. That is very, very important, because if you want to grow in a particular profession, you got to connect with people around you in the same community or the profession. That is very, very important. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining me. And if you are part of my regular learning group, then we have sessions tomorrow at 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So do join me in that if one of you are part of tomorrow's session as well. Otherwise, we'll meet next week, Saturday at 2 p.m. sharp with some more learnings. So thank you so much, guys. And I'll meet you next week again. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Thank you, Atmaza. Thank you, Akshit. Thank you, Bhushan. Thank you for your time. And I hope it was a useful session for you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We don't provide any certificates, we just provide knowledge. So, and if you want to rewatch the recording, it will be available on my YouTube channel. So head on there and watch the recording. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See you all next week again, same time, Saturday at 2 p.m. for some other topic.